What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So, I've been really excited recently about the prospects of audio plugins. I feel like we're really getting to a point now with software that you're able to take audio plugins and really push the envelope of what you can do creatively and sonically within your DAW. Like, it's really crazy what you can do with plugins nowadays. And I think one of the companies at the forefront of this whole plugin renaissance is Baby Audio. I don't know if you guys have ever checked any of their plugins out, but it just seems like, at least for me, everything Baby Audio creates just hits the mark. It's like right what you need that you didn't even know you needed until you started using it. So I love Baby Audio. I love what they do. And one of the plugins that I want to talk about is one of their newer plugins. It's called Smooth Operator. So what is Smooth Operator? Well, Smooth Operator deals with spectral compression and equalization, all of those cool things that helps you tame different frequencies so that they're not too harsh. Before you say anything, I know there's other plugins that do that, but the reason I wanted to bring this to this channel is because of where Smooth Operator shines and its intelligence. So what you're looking at here is kind of like a plugin that has smart technology. So you have a spectral compression that's coupled with Baby Audio's brilliant algorithmic settings that are working behind the scenes. One of the things that I think Baby Audio really does well is create plugins that really shortens that curve in your workflow and makes things a lot easier and saves you a lot of time when you're creating. And I'm all for plugins like that. Plugins that do a lot of the work for you behind the scenes so that you can just focus on just the creative aspect of it. And that's where Smooth Operator shines. It allows you to really carve your frequencies out the way you want to, while the algorithm behind the scenes tames those frequencies via compression. And we're gonna get more into that, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I'm gonna show you what that sounds like once we dive right into this plugin. But I'm loving this thing. It's really, really cool. And I have a feeling that once you guys start using it, it's gonna be something that becomes really essential to your workflow. So let's jump right into Smooth Operator and see what this thing is all about. So, as always, I have Logic queued up and ready to go, and this is Smooth Operator. Now, like always, we're gonna jump right into the UI design. Another thing that I think Baby Audio does really well is creating really smooth and cool and kind of futuristic looking UI designs. I love the color palette. I love the simplicity of the design, but the smoothness and how clean the resolution is, it's all really cool. If you look up here in the top left corner, you'll see that they have 3 different color options for you to choose from. They do that with a couple of their other plugins. I believe Spaced Out also has some different color options for you to choose from. But it's really nice to just have those options. You have kind of a pastel blue here, a pastel green, and a salmon color going on here. I like the salmon color. I think it pops. What you'll notice right off the back is, unlike other compressors or frequency taming type plugins, you don't have a lot of settings going on here. You don't have a lot of numbers on the screen and a lot of knobs and things for you to twist and turn for hours until you lose your mind and your brain starts to leak out of your ears. You don't have that going on here. And I totally get it. Like, for certain things, you do want to get really hands-on and do really want to be able to dive in deep into compression and tweak things the way you really want to tweak it. But for a lot of us producers and for a lot of artists that are just trying to tame their vocals a little bit, you want to be able to get your ideas out quickly and get to the point quickly and get a really great result without wasting a whole lot of time. Now, that can fall apart really easily. There are companies that create these kind of smart plugins that have algorithms going on behind the UI so that all you have to do is kind of carve things out how you want, and the algorithm behind the UI does all the heavy lifting and does all the work for you via settings and all of that stuff. There are other companies that do that, and sometimes it falls short. Sometimes it's not really what you're looking for. I think Baby Audio does a really good job in the intelligence category as far as it working behind the scenes. Everything they have going on here as far as compression is smooth, it's not too harsh, and it gives you just what you need to tame the different frequencies in that spectrum. So if you look right here, you have 4 bands here for you to kind of scroll across and you're able to tame different frequencies, everything from 20 to 20K. You have this little section right here. This is your threshold. What you want to try to keep in mind is, yes, you are taming frequencies, but unlike EQ, if you raise any of these parameters, it's not going to boost the frequencies in that section. It's just going to allow the frequencies in that section more headroom to grow. So all you're doing with this is taming frequency. So this thing is about threshold and setting ceilings on harsh frequencies that you're trying to tame without you wasting the time of adjusting settings for hours. Down here you have focus. You have a solo button right here, which is going to allow you to solo the individual bands for whatever frequency you're trying to tame. You have your output knob right here, and you have a peak section right here that tells you your RMS peaks. Right up top here, you have a preset section, so you're able to dial into the presets, and you have your Baby Audio logo right there. You click the Baby Audio logo, and it will bypass the plugin. You have a dedicated sidechain section right here. And as always, I always love a UI that can be adjusted. You can adjust the size of this UI to whatever size you want it to be, and it's still really clean looking and still really smooth looking. Honestly, that's it. As far as the plugin goes, that's it. There's not a whole bunch of knobs. There's not a whole bunch of faders. The whole point of this plugin is to do the heavy lifting for you, so you can just use your ears and just focus on the frequencies that you want to tame. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to just play this beat. These settings right here are settings I applied to this beat that I think work for the beat. I have it on my master channel right here. I have it after my compressor and my limiter. I have it after everything. It's kind of like just a finishing touch, just to kind of add a little bit of sheen to the track and kind of brighten things up a little bit. I'm going to play a before and after, and then I'm going to explain why I did what I did while also showing you how the plugin works. So this is the beat without Smooth Operator on, just so you can get an idea of what it is that we're working on. Okay, and now I don't know if you have headphones on already or if you're buying these speakers, but for this next part you might want to throw some headphones on or get near some speakers just so you can hear the subtle differences between the before and the after. I'm going to turn Smooth Operator on, and this is the same beat but with Smooth Operator on. Now, you may or may not have been able to hear the subtle differences in that before and after, but I'm going to explain things a little bit. So this is with it off and with it on. Now, the differences are subtle, and that's what I would say you should do with something like this. The whole point of this is to just carve out harsh frequencies and just allow other frequencies to breathe a little bit more and make your track a little bit brighter and feel the way you need it to feel without being too muddy, which is basically what I did here. This section right here, I have solo highlighted, so whenever I go to any of the bands, it'll solo that band so you can hear what's happening. So I'm gonna play the beat. And you can kind of hear the mud right there with that thump. I just lowered it a little bit. I lowered the band right there a little bit just to get a little bit of mud out of there. And some of those mids, I lowered it a little bit right here. And then after I made my adjustments to these bands right here, I can then take the threshold and pull it down a little bit just to inform the plugin where I want that ceiling to be and when I want it to start operating. Hit play. As you can see, this is it with it pulled all the way down. And you can see up here where the plugin is doing the work for you already. It's lowering the frequencies in the areas you want it lowered and allowing the frequencies you want to breathe. And then you can pull it back up to where you want it to be. This was the main trouble area for me, so I think I would leave it like right here. And you can see it reacting right there. And this is it with it off. And the beat is fine with it off, but it's just a little bit of mud there that I wanted to clean up. And this is it with it on. Raise the ceiling on these highs a little bit. And that's basically it. Just to give you more of an example of how this thing works, I'm gonna reset this. So reset it back to the beginning. Now this is something that I think you should keep in mind if you're using this plugin. As soon as you apply the plugin, it's going to go to work. As soon as you put the plugin on your track, it's gonna start applying that compression and doing the work for you. So keep that in mind, that if you put the plugin on the track, the threshold is already gonna be set at -32 decibels. As soon as you hit play. It's up to you to pull that threshold up. You want to move the band and pick the frequencies that you want it to like react to. You can move the threshold up, let the track play, hit solo, go to the bands, find where you want to lower things, pull it down a little bit, find the next area, the next problem area. Pull it down a little. And then go to the threshold and lower it there. And I'm gonna just do something a little dramatic so you can really hear this plugin going to work real quick. So now you can really hear where it attacked that sub and that low end. Right over here, I really pulled down in this area so you can get an idea of what it sounds like when you're really trying to tame a specific frequency. And this is it. You can hear how much the sub is being tamed with Smooth Operator right now. So again, very subtle things, but it's just there to just allow things to breathe a little bit more and allow things to get a little bit brighter. This thing really shines on vocals, and it definitely shines on individual instruments, but I wanted to apply it to my master chain just so that you can see that you can also use it on your master chain if you just want to like very slightly tame certain frequencies so that they're not too harsh, right before you bounce out your track. You can do that with this plugin. You can use this thing on anything. Now let's go through some of the presets so you can hear. Obviously, it's going to do different things to my beats right now, but I just want you to hear some of these presets and hear what they can do to a track. So we're going to go through the presets real quick. So I'm going to hit reset here and we'll go through them. One of the really cool things about this is how it makes the adjustments in real time. So I'm not even doing anything. This plugin is doing all the work behind the scenes. As you can see right here, it's analyzing the audio coming through and making that compression happen in real time. And it's just really great, really smooth. That's a really good setting if you got like a lo-fi beat going on, so that's really cool. only on the 12th preset. So I was only on the 12th preset, but you have 64 different presets you can go through. I only went through 12, but you can sit here forever and go through with presets, and then you can make your own individual adjustments to those presets. And then you can, after you make your adjustments, you can save the adjustments you make as your own preset. So say, let me just make some adjustments real quick so I can save this. So say that's my adjustments and I wanted to save this preset so I could use it again later. I just hit this up arrow right here. I give it a name. Let's call this Ars Magic. And that's it. I got my own preset, Ars Magic, saved right there, and I can go back to it whenever I want. All I got to do is scroll down, hit Ars Magic, and boom. There you go. You got it right there. So that is Smooth Operator. Very, very, very dope plugin. Again, I can't emphasize enough how smart this plugin is. I mean, it does do a lot of the work for you, and that can be a really scary thing. And like I said earlier, it doesn't always work with every plugin. Some plugins are a little too harsh in that regard, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, but you don't like what they're doing. So it doesn't make a difference that it's making the workflow easier for you, because what the plugin is doing behind the scenes is actually sucks, so it's making the work harder for you. In this situation, I don't know what the settings are. I don't know what is going on behind the UI and what Baby Audio has going on as far as the algorithm and the UI and what's going on behind it. All I know is it's working, and it's working very well. It's not harsh. As a matter of fact, when I was giving you some of the before and after examples, a lot of you probably would have to really listen hard, listen really closely to hear the subtle differences between the before and after. And that's because that compression isn't destroying the audio that's being passed through it. It's being very subtle and it's being smooth. And if I want to make it a little more harsh, I have the options to do that via the threshold and the focus knob. But it's a really great plugin, really smooth plugin, pun intended. And I really have been using this on a lot of things in my workflow for those individual frequencies that are kind of eating at your vocals and you want to get rid of that. Smooth Operator, do it like that. So yeah, that was it for this review. Baby Audio strikes again with another really dope plugin. I look forward to everything they have coming out in the future. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.